Hello. I'm sorry for the wait for this what if. I just want to start off the video by saying that it's been pretty hectic because I've just started school again. And it's been pretty chaotic the last month. I've had this what if written for a while, but it's just taken me so long to actually record it. I have 3 or 4 what ifs actually done, I'm pretty sure. I just have not been able to find the time to record them. And as you can see by the title, this is just part 1. I was only really able to record 1 part. Hopefully I can get part 2 up within a week or so. I don't know. But without further ado, this is What If Heather Never Stole Eva's MP3 player. So I know that the main what if for Eva is what if she didn't have anger issues or things like that, I'm pretty sure. But anger is just a big part of Eva's personality, and taking that away would kind of make her bland. It's just a strong woman, and that's it. I guess tomboy strong woman, but then that's just her whole personality. So that would turn her very bland. So I decided to just keep in the anger issues. But her crazy chaotic anger side just hasn't really been shown to the fullest yet. Yeah. Okay. Duncan and Gwen still gonna compete in the final 2 as usual because oh, I also just gotta eliminate Zeke real quick. Let's just go back up here. Okay. Yeah, Duncan and Gwen still final 2. Nothing changes with this. Gwen's just still gonna win, and the Gophers will be safe from elimination. Eva doesn't go crazy because Heather just hasn't stole the MP3. Heather still makes the alliance with Beth and Lindsay. Everything else stays the same with her. It's just she doesn't steal Eva's MP3 player. Yeah. So when the Bass figure out that they have to vote someone out again, I could see Tyler and Harold getting along, and they talk to each other and realize that both of them aren't really good with the group, I guess. The group just kind of outcasts both of them, thinking that they're both kind of just dumb, I guess. So they decide that they are going to try and make a mini alliance with 2 other people who aren't really too popular by the group, who are Katie and Sadie. Because by everyone else, these 4 are kind of outcast, kind of named as weirdos because you know, Tyler's a very quiet guy who likes attention, I guess, in a way. Harold, his manly skills are just, and then Katie and Sadie seem to just annoy everyone very frequently. And I could definitely see Tyler and Harold getting along with Sadie and Katie. After Katie left, Sadie and Harold had a little bit of a friendship, but it didn't really go anywhere, so now it would. But obviously, they can still count, and they realize this is 4, this is 6, and they need more people to flip onto their side to assure that, none of them get eliminated. And I think that out of these people, they most likely want to ask Bridget, because Bridget has just shown to be a very kind person. Katie and Sadie probably push for her because I could see them both getting along with Bridget. Harold got along with Bridget, and Tyler and Bridget had a little bit of a friendship, I guess. So they asked Bridget to join their alliance because she's just a chill person. And yeah, I guess yeah. And I do think that Bridget would accept being in this alliance because people on this side, Eva, Duncan, very violent people, Courtney to some extent, I guess, are very violent people, and Bridget, is not a very violent person. She tries to stay away from all that. So I do think that she would accept being over here with more, I guess, timid and shy people, because, you know, she prefers friendly people. She doesn't like maniacs. No offense. Oh my god. So, yeah, but as you can see, this is 5, this is 5. They need someone else to flip. And I do think that, like, they plan on getting DJ or Jeff because obviously, like, Duncan, Eva, Courtney are all people that they'd want to target. I think out of these 3, they'd probably be targeting Duncan the most because Harold doesn't like him because of his bullying, and I don't think that's actually started yet, but he just still wouldn't be too big a fan of him. Sadie and Katie probably aren't too big a fan of him. Bridget has shown not to be a big fan of Duncan, so he would probably be the one that they target the most. And I think that between Jeff and DJ, they probably get DJ. Maybe Jeff? I don't know. I don't think they'd really have a problem with getting either of them. I think that the guys would probably get along better with DJ because he's really nice. And Katie, Sadie, and Bridget would all get along with Jeff. I could definitely see them pulling both of them over. Like, Bridget would definitely push for Jeff to come over because she has a crush on Jeff. And then Bridget and DJ are pretty close too. So I could see all of these guys coming over. The only issue is Jeff and DJ get along with Duncan. So when these 5 tell them their plan to vote out Duncan, DJ and Jeff wouldn't want to vote out Duncan. They'd want to join this alliance because they do agree that these people are quite violent, but they wouldn't want to get rid of Duncan, especially because in this episode he was the last person on their team who was awake. So this alliance pretty much agrees that voting out Duncan after he did do such a well game, I did not word that correctly, but you get what I mean, I think. Like, voting out Duncan after performing well in the challenge would kind of be unfair. And someone else who also performed well in the challenge is Eva. I believe she made it to Final 5 in the challenge, maybe 5th or 4th place, I don't really remember. But, like, she got somewhere around there. And Courtney, she had a good strategy, and I'd say that she probably fell asleep somewhere in the middle, which isn't bad, compared to people like Harold, Tyler, Katie, Sadie, Jeff, DJ, Bridget, I guess. Like, she would have been, like, one of the last people on her team to fall asleep, but I don't think they really care about that. Like, she was the worst out of these 3. Plus, she didn't jump back in this episode, and in this episode, she was just really bossy and just kind of mean and stuff. Bridget and Courtney had a little bit of a friendship, so I don't know if Bridget would want to vote her out. But also, that friendship started all the way up here. I don't think Bridget really knows Courtney too well, other than, like, her being bossy in this episode. So, I don't think Bridget would try and save Courtney. I think Courtney goes here because these 2 are just stronger competitors to these 5 or 7 now than Courtney. So I think that it is just most likely that she goes. Yeah. Okay. Eva and Duncan, when they realize that Courtney is eliminated, they're pretty mad because these 3 probably had a pretty solid alliance. Obviously, those 2 are, like, still getting on each other's nerves and stuff, but, like, they still have a good alliance and stuff because they, like, view all of them as, like, the strongest members on their team, and they'd like to, like, keep... I don't know why I'm having such a hard time explaining this. They have an alliance because they think that they're the strongest people on the team. I don't know what was wrong with me there. Okay. So, Dodgeball. This episode remains pretty much the same. Lindsay, Tyler are still gonna sneak off. Heather's still gonna find Lindsay and Tyler and throw the canoe thing on his head. Yeah. The only difference is that when Duncan goes to sleep because he's tired, they don't need to wake him up now because Eva's here, and I feel like Eva would probably do, like, the exact same job as Duncan did, like, with, like, being able to come up with a good strategy and stuff to, like, defeat the other team. She basically just takes Duncan's role here. And then Harold also comes in and, like, is able to dodge and stuff. So the Bass win, and there's no reason why Noah just wouldn't go out here. So, there. Okay. Episode 5. Sadie, Tyler, Katie, and Harold notice that Jeff, Bridget, and DJ, let me just there you go. These four notice that these three are kind of starting to, like, drift away from their, like, big alliance that they had. And, like, they're starting to get, like, more close to Eva and Duncan, because obviously DJ and Jeff do get along with Duncan. Bridget is probably, like, in the middle, but, like, she does, like, her best friends on the island are probably those two. So she is kind of just, like, hanging out with these guys. And these four are kind of worried because that's 5, this is 4. They were able to get out Courtney, but that's kind of just because she's Courtney and bossy and stuff. Okay, so, yeah. Okay. So, this episode, like, the start of it pretty much remains the same, with Heather getting Lindsay to spy on Gwen. That still happens, and then, like, Lindsay gets distracted by Tyler, and doesn't see Gwen, and then Cody comes up, and Gwen and him have a weird interaction, and, like, Cody, like, sniffs her hair and stuff. Yeah, it's weird. So now that Courtney is gone, back in this episode, she was kind of the team leader on the Bass. So the Bass would have to kind of assign someone new as the team leader. And I think that the person they assign is probably Bridget. Everyone here likes Bridget, so no one would have a problem with Bridget leading. She is, like, pretty athletic, so she'd be able to, like, guide them in those kind of challenges. And she's pretty smart, too. Like, she's not dumb. So she'd be able to lead them really pretty well. And she is just a kind person, so she'd be able to, like, help them out, like, as, like, opposed to, like, Eva or Duncan leading, like, being mean to everyone. Bridget's just a nice person, so she'd lead, and yeah. Heather still just takes over as team leader on the Gophers, and since the Gophers just have the exact same members, it literally stays the same with, choosing who goes in. It's just Heather, Justin, Trent. And then, even though Bridget is the team leader now, I do think that the people going in do stay the same. Originally, it was Courtney instead of Bridget, but now Courtney's not here, and since Bridget is the team leader, she would want to, like, step up and, like, prove herself to her team that she can do well. Also, I don't see anyone else doing well. Maybe Eva, but we'll get back into that in a second. Yeah, so DJ goes and Justin goes. I think it was that order. I don't know. It might have been Trent first. I don't really remember. It doesn't matter. I think Justin gets, like, a 6, if I remember correctly. I don't know. But DJ does bad. Then Bridget goes. She barfs on everyone. And Trent, actually, I think Trent goes before Bridget, but whatever. It's fine. Yeah. So then Trent goes. He gets a good score for singing a song. Bridget goes and barfs on everyone. Because, yeah. Bridget hasn't, like, destroyed Courtney's violin now, but just kind of made a hole, I guess, in the stage, which is fine, I guess. And then Jeff's gonna break his skateboard. Well, before that, Heather's gonna go read Gwen's diary. That all stays the same. Then Jeff's gonna go break his skateboard, and the Bass have to send someone else out. But now I think they send out Eva, because I definitely see her talent being, like, something, like, kind of similar to Jeff's thing, like, with, like, skateboarding, I guess, through, like, a ring of fire and stuff like that, or, like, doing some crazy obstacle course, or, like, taking down, like, a 10-foot bear or something like that. And I do think that, although it isn't the Harold thing, it would, like, make Chef, like, pleased, and because she just, like, took down a bear or something. So, the Bass win, and the Gophers go to elimination, and, like Dodgeball, like, the Bass have the same members, so there's no reason why Justin wouldn't go, because it happened originally. Yeah, story of this episode pretty much remains the same, with Gwen trying to ignore Trent because of the diary thing. Yeah, that's just the same. Katie, Sadie, Tyler, and Harold would all be together now, instead of just Katie and Sadie at the back. I do think that they do probably find the blueberries, but, like, Harold's a smart guy, and, like, he's able to tell them that they shouldn't eat them, like, they could be poisonous or something. And obviously they aren't, but, like, he's able to convince them to not eat the blueberries and then just keep going with their team. So they'd all be talking about like trying to get Bridget back on their side, because at this point Bridget is the swing vote. Like, these guys are all working together and these guys are all working together. So if they go to elimination again, they need to make sure that Bridget is on their side. So yeah. Okay. Katie and Sadie, I feel like being like these like popular, like obsessed, boy crazy, like people from their school, they'd tell Tyler that he should go flirt with Bridget to try and get her on their side. And obviously Tyler wouldn't want to, and like he'd suggest Harold doing it because obviously Tyler has a crush on Lindsay. And then Sadie and Katie just bring up that Tyler's not the best with women. And obviously, like, Tyler still wouldn't want to do it, but knowing that, like, it will save their alliance and, like, just make it further, he goes to talk to Bridget and try and, like, flirt a little bit, and then he just, like, tells himself that he doesn't have to tell Lindsay. So, like, he, like, goes, and Bridget's probably in the front because she's, like, the team leader at this point, so, Tyler goes to talk to Bridget. Yeah. He tries to, like, flirt with her a little bit. Bridget is kind of confused at first, but then when she realizes what he's doing, she just kind of, like, outwardly tells him that she kind of has eyes for Jeff. And, yeah, and she does think that he has a crush on him at this point. No, she does think that he has a crush on her, because obviously he's flirting with her. So she tries to be nice about it. And then Tyler would tell Tyler would tell her that he also has a crush on Lindsay, and he's just kind of doing this because he really needs Bridget on their side, because obviously, like, it is obvious that she is the swing vote. And then Bridget would, like, kind of laugh about this, like, they bond a little bit about both revealing their crushes, I guess, together. So yeah, they do bond and stuff. Tyler confesses to Bridget that he feels kind of lonely though, because, well, not like lonely, but like, I don't know what the correct word is, but like, Lindsay is always spending time with Heather is what I'm trying to say, because they're of their alliance. So he feels like upset that like Lindsay's not spending any time with him, because obviously she's always spending time with Heather because alliance, and like Heather's always trying to like pull them apart and stuff. Bridget hears him out and like tells him that he should probably just, like, talk to Lindsay about how he thinks that her alliance with Heather is toxic and stuff, and if she does turn him down, then she turns him down, and, like, there's nothing he can do about it. He just has to be respectful. Tyler hugs Bridget and thanks her before running off to try and find Lindsay. But then, obviously, like, I don't know why I said to find Lindsay, because Lindsay's not there. Ignore that find Lindsay part, because Lindsay's not actually there, because they're on different trails, so he just runs back to these three. I don't know why I said find Lindsay, but that's fine, I guess. Sadie and Katie ask Tyler how the flirting went, and he tells them that well, they didn't flirt. They just kind of talked. Harold, Sadie, and Katie then, like, kind of just facepalm and think that their plan failed, because Tyler just didn't want to flirt with Bridget, because it is obvious to them that he has a crush on Lindsay. So they think that he's kind of messed up their plan, because he just doesn't want to flirt with Bridget. But then he tells them that, like, he bonded a lot with her, and she is likely to join them on this side, especially because Eva and Duncan are over here, and yeah. Yeah, so the rest of this episode pretty much remains the same. Owen and Izzy still, like, Izzy still dresses up as a bear, Owen summons a bear, and yeah. Katie and Sadie aren't lost in the woods now, so then when the Bass come back to camp first, they actually win without Katie and Sadie being lost. And this photo is clearly between Owen and Izzy, because they, like, made a bear come and, like, they caused their team to have to sleep up in a tree. But between Owen and Izzy, Owen's just more liked. Like, people like Lashawna just do not like Izzy. Gwen probably wouldn't really like either of them, but, like, Izzy's, like, crazy and stuff. Heather probably leans Owen, but I do think that the vote I probably would be Izzy. It is hard to choose between them, but I just think that the majority would be Izzy, because Owen's really likable. So she goes up there. It sucks to see her go so early, because I really like Izzy, but it is what it is, I guess. At the end of this episode, Tyler talks to Lindsay about, like, Heather's alliance and how he thinks that it's just a toxic thing that she shouldn't be a part of anymore, because he hates seeing her, like, get manipulated and stuff. Lindsay hesitates for a moment, and Tyler just kind of thinks that he ruined everything and that Lindsay really likes Heather and, like, is unsure about him anymore. But then Lindsay kisses him and promises that she'll, like, try and break things off with Heather because she agrees that it is kind of toxic and, like, Heather's just kind of trying to get Beth and Lindsay to do everything for her, and obviously that's not a healthy relationship. So, yeah. Okay. So, episode 7, this is where, like, they get all their fears and stuff. So, obviously, for the new people, Eva and Katie, I have to come up with new fears for them. Eva definitely agrees with Sadie and Lindsay about bad haircuts. Oh, did I say Eva? If I did, I meant Katie. I don't know if I did. I don't know. Katie agrees with Sadie and Lindsay about bad haircuts. That's what I tried to say. I might have said Eva. It's fine. And then Eva's fear, I could see it, like, being something like, I don't know, worms or, like, a small bug, because obviously, like, she's shown to be able to, like, wrestle Sasquatch, so, like, being afraid of, like, bugs or, like, worms or something like that. I think that would just be comedic and the show would do that. The people who didn't complete their fears pretty much stayed the same on the Gophers. Lashana, Cody. And then on the Bass, the people who didn't complete their fears originally were Bridget, Tyler, even though he did complete his fear, so that was stupid, and then Courtney, but Courtney's not here. And DJ actually wouldn't be able to complete his fear because he only completed his fear originally because Courtney was there to peer pressure him, but now no one would do that. And I do think that, well, Katie would obviously be able to face her fear with Sadie and Lindsay, and I do think that Eva would be able to face her fear. I know that, like, Lashana had a pretty similar fear, and, like, Lashana is, like, shown to be a very strong competitor, and then it was literally just chef in a spider costume and she ran away. But Eva, I think, would be able to face her fear. Maybe not, but that's still 3-2. So, yeah. Okay. Also, now without Duncan, without, I forgot Courtney's name for a second. Without Courtney, Duncan might not be able to complete his fear, but since Bridget is the team leader, I do think that Bridget, is likely to be able to help, that's Tyler, be able to help Duncan do his fear, because even though she doesn't really like him, she would, like, take pity on him because she does think that, like, she's the team leader and she should be helping out her team. Like, she doesn't like to see anyone, like, face their fear badly and stuff. And also, now that Courtney's not here, Chris would see Duncan's fear as the most pathetic, so he would offer the double points, thing to Duncan, because Duncan just wouldn't want to complete his fear now that, like, they have 2 people who haven't done their fear. So, Chris offers the double point thing to Duncan if he does his fear, because he did it to Courtney originally, so I don't see why he wouldn't do it, to Duncan. And I think that with Bridget's help, because Bridget's just a nice person, she'd probably be able to do a better job than Courtney. So, with Bridget's help, he's able to complete his fear and stuff. Okay. When Lindsay, Katie, and Sadie all, like, take off their wigs and stuff and, like, compliment each other and stuff because, like, they look pretty and stuff, Sadie and Katie tell Lindsay that, they are close with Tyler, who told them about, Lindsay like considering leaving Heather's alliance, and that they support her in that because Heather is just a toxic person, and Lindsay doesn't, like, Heather doesn't deserve Lindsay's loyalty and stuff. Lindsay, I guess, feeling very confident now about it because she's getting, like, told by 3 people that she's better than Heather and she should be, like, leaving this alliance because she can do better than Heather and stuff. So this now leads for Lindsay to break her alliance with Heather, and Heather probably, like, blows up on Lindsay and, like, tells her, like, oh, if we lose this challenge, you're gonna be the first one voted out. And then this causes, like, Lindsay to probably, like, blow up on Heather like she did in, in this episode all the way up here. Because, like, Heather's, like, mean and stuff. It probably wouldn't be as big as that because Heather, like, hasn't duped out Lindsay yet, but Heather has been, like, not being kind to Lindsay and Beth. So Lindsay would kind of blow up on Heather, probably in front of Beth, and Beth would kind of agree with this. Yeah. So now that, like, Duncan has faced his fear and gotten the extra points for the Bass win. And I'm not entirely sure if this is how it worked. I don't know if, like, the only people in the original who could receive votes were the people who didn't complete their fears. I don't know, but I do think that Cody and Lashana would get targeted anyway for not completing their fears. And okay. Since Lindsay has broken her alliance with Heather, who is clearly targeting Lashana, these 3 are all working together, obviously. And Lindsay, like, wants new friends because Lindsay's kind of a sheep and, like, she follows. So she'd, like, want a new friend group. So she comes over here and votes out Cody with this group, and Beth is kind of scared of Heather right now. She is, like, really close to, like, wanting to break up the alliance because Heather is just a bad person, but she's scared because Lindsay obviously, like, is a big target for Heather, like, soon. And I do think that Cody obviously votes for Lashana because it's him or Lashana, but Owen, I think, prefers Lashana over Cody, meaning Cody is eliminated here. Yeah. Okay. Next episode. Okay. Beth is still gonna show up late, and not hear Chris tell the team about the cursed island statue things, and, like, if you take anything off the island, then you'll be cursed and stuff. Okay. Now, originally, like, they all, like, canoed in pairs because they had to canoe over to the island. Trent and Lindsay now go together, because Beth probably is gonna go with Heather now because, Heather, like, really wants to take Beth and, like, try and make sure that Beth is loyal since she just lost to Lindsay. So Beth probably tries to go with them because she did originally, but now she has to go with Heather because Heather's kind of making her. Which is also, like, a kind of thing that's, like, wow, Heather kind of took me away from my friends. That's mean. And then that means that these 3 left over go together. Gwen, Lashana, and Owen, because they don't have anyone else to go with. And then for the Bass, it's probably going to be Katie and Sadie, obviously, and then also Harold, because Harold is only kind of close with Tyler, and then Sadie and Katie, but I do think that, Tyler, I guess, goes with, I don't know. We'll come back to Tyler. Because Tyler goes with someone else. I'll reveal that later. So these 3 just go together. That's all you need to know. Those 3 go together. So I think that Eva, like, doesn't really have anyone to go with. I mean, kind of maybe Duncan, but I think that Duncan goes. I'm explaining this very poorly. Basically, those three go together because they just get along and stuff. And now Bridget would go with Duncan because Duncan kind of respects Bridget, because this episode Bridget helped out Duncan, like, do his fear and stuff, so they decide to go together. Jeff and Tyler go together because they're kind of like bros and stuff, and like they are cool and stuff, and that's like how Jeff went with DJ originally, but now DJ goes with Eva because DJ senses like Eva's like anger side stuff and wants to help her out with that. Okay, now what would happen on these canoe like buddy things is Bridget would tell Duncan about the horrible gift that Jeff gave her this morning, because she told it to Courtney originally, and now she would tell it to Duncan because obviously they're going together instead of Courtney. And then Jeff is going to tell Tyler about it. And yeah, it's like basically just going to be the same thing with like Bridget and Jeff, only it's Duncan and Tyler now instead of Courtney and DJ. Duncan like tells Bridget that it is a terrible gift, but at least it's like the thought that counts, and like it's clear that by the gift that Jeff really cares about her. So it makes Bridget see a new perspective, and she really likes that, and she thanks Duncan because up until now he's just kind of been a jerk. So she appreciates his kindness, I guess. Then Jeff tells Tyler about the gift, and Tyler is a little bit oblivious, so he probably doesn't think the gift is too bad, but he is like growing a friendship with Bridget. So he would like confess that the gift probably was bad and probably freaked her out a little bit. And obviously Tyler knows that Bridget does have a crush on Jeff because they told each other in the camping episode. But he doesn't want to let Bridget's secret slip, so he doesn't bring it up. He doesn't tell Jeff about Bridget having a crush on him. DJ goes with Eva, and she doesn't really care. She's like alright with it, I guess. And DJ tells her and like talks to her about her anger issues and how he thinks that like she can get angry easily, to put it kindly, I guess. Eva gets pretty annoyed by this, but like she hears DJ out. DJ tells Eva that a lot of things in life turn out bad, but there are also a lot of things in life that can turn out good. So when bad things happen, you should just try to find good things in life to cheer you up. Eva is pretty shocked by this, and grows a good bit of respect for DJ, because obviously like she's trying to help her out with her anger problems and stuff. And the two continue talking about like Eva's like troubles and stuff, and like why she's angry all the time. And DJ like helps her to train her anger, I guess, so that she can control it and like use it for more important things. Harold brings up his love of comics to Sadie and Harold because he likes like, comics and stuff. Sadie and Katie agree that they also like magazines and stuff, which are pretty similar to comics, because they're like kind of sort of the same. Well, no, not really, but they're similar a little bit. So now that like they're bonding over similar things, because magazines, comics, kind of similar, you know, potato. So the three bond because of that. This Trent and Lindsay thing probably stays the same, with Lindsay trying to lay down on Trent's lap to see if she could tan, and then for some reason Trent was okay with this, even though he has a crush on Gwen. I don't know, maybe it's just because Lindsay's hot, I don't know. Anyway, Beth sees Lindsay like being able to lay on Trent's lap, and she gets jealous because obviously like they both have a crush on Trent. But then Heather notices Beth's jealousy, and she tells Beth that now that they've lost Lindsay in their alliance, they need someone new. Because obviously like they want to go to the final three and stuff. Like she wants a 3-person alliance because a 2-person alliance isn't very good. And I think the person that comes to mind is probably Owen. She hates Gwen and Lashana. Trent is with Gwen, and Lindsay just rebelled from her. So the only person that she can have is Owen. And Heather, like, kind of knowing that, like, Lindsay left because of her bad attitude, she tried to be as nice as possible to Beth and stuff, like, complimenting, like, her hair and her glasses, and I guess, yeah. And, yeah. So when she brings up, like, Owen as a potential new ally, Beth is okay with it because Beth, like, gets along pretty well with Owen. And Heather thinks that Owen would just be really easy to manipulate, because in the past, Heather's, like, been able to get him to vote with her, because I think he gave her, like, a piece of cake back down in, this episode, and then he voted out Justin with her, and that's amazing. So, she, like, sets her sights on Owen because she needs a new ally. I don't know why I made that so awkward. She also has plans of messing with Gwen and Trent in the future, but she doesn't really know when she can do that, because obviously Gwen and Trent are going to be a powerful pair in the future, so she'd want to, like, get that out of the way as soon as possible. But also, she also knows, like, right now Gwen, Owen, and Lashana are all going to be, like, paddling together and, like, having a good time bonding and stuff, and that also messes with her, so she wants to get Gwen out as soon as possible. And she is mad because this last episode she tried to get out Lashana because Lashana, she hates her, plus Lashana is a big challenge threat, but obviously Cody got eliminated, so that wasn't very convenient. Whatever, it's fine. So when the teams actually get onto Boney Island, I think, like, it's a bunch of, like, pterodactyls or, like, birds or whatever. And Cody originally is able to, like, get rid of them, because he has bread in his trousers, which is great, because that distracted the birds, and yeah, well, now that Cody's not here, that wouldn't happen, so I guess the teams would just kind of have to outrun the birds. And then Trent and Lindsay still fall into the quicksand. And originally, Cody swung in on a vine and saved them, but now that Cody's gone, someone else has to do it. And I guess Beth. I guess it kind of fits her character. I don't know. Out of these people, I could see Beth doing it the most. I guess Beth does it. She just takes Cody's role there. Anyway, Jeff's gonna get his splinter, and then he's gonna, like, act like his foot's about to fall off, or, like, his leg, and he's gonna die or something like that. I don't know. It was really weird and stuff, but whatever. So then his team start carrying him and stuff. That all stays the same. Duncan still just, like, carries a lighter and starts a fire, so the Bass get the point for that. Now that Izzy's not here to, like, basically blow up her team's fire. Beth is still gonna find the Tiki statue, because she didn't hear Chris at the start of the episode, so she brings it back with her because she didn't hear him. I don't know why I just said that. I don't know why I'm saying it again. Harold's still just gonna use the oars, because, like, the wooden oars, as firewood. Yeah, that stays the same with him burning the oars. And now that Izzy isn't here to give the Bass the idea to, like, row back, with, like, someone pushing the boat, or the canoes, I guess, back, the Gophers win. And these four are going to be working together, but since Harold is the reason that, like, the team messed up, I don't think Bridget would want to vote any of these people out when it was clearly Harold's fault. Especially because like DJ has been like teaching Eva on like controlling her anger, and then like she's bonded with Duncan, and then obviously she's close with DJ and Jeff. So I do think that she votes out Harold, and this little 4-person alliance is pretty shocked because they expected Bridget to vote with them, but they kind of understand because it was kind of all Harold's fault that they lost the challenge. Bridget accidentally breaks Jeff's gift at the end of this episode and asks Eva, Sadie, or Katie if they have any glue because she wants to fix it. And they all agree that they wouldn't waste their time fixing something like that. But then Bridget remembers what Duncan said about, like, it's the thought that counts, and then she smiles before going away to fix it anyway. Trent and Gwen are still gonna just sit out on the dock at the night, and yeah, it's just gonna remain the same like in the original, but now DJ and Eva do this, as DJ is like, trying to calm Eva down, and like he's trying to like explain to her how like fully controlling your anger is better than like just letting your anger out all the time. And Eva is like listening to him and stuff and like smiling because they've gotten pretty close. Okay. So this next episode, originally the Gophers had 4 hunters, and the Bass had 3 because the Gophers had 1 more person. But now the Bass have another person, so the Bass get an extra player, and the hunters originally, for the Bass were, I believe, Bridget, Jeff, and Harold. I'm pretty sure it was Jeff. Yeah, it was Jeff. Right? Yeah, it was Jeff. I think it was, I'm almost positive it was Jeff. I know that it was Bridget and Harold. So now I had to spin a wheel to see the 2 other hunters, because obviously Harold's not here, and then we need another hunter because this team has an extra person. So I spun a wheel, and it landed on Eva and Katie. And then, for the Gophers, okay, so originally the Gophers hunters were Lindsay, Beth, Lashawna, and Owen, so I had to spin a wheel to see who doesn't become a hunter, and it was Lindsay. So now these are the 3 hunters for this team, these are the 4 hunters for this team, these are all hunters, and yeah. So Heather's still just gonna wait for Beth, and like obviously she hasn't talked to Owen yet about joining the alliance, so she's not waiting for Owen. So she's gonna wait for Beth to like come and like help her out, I guess. And then now, like, originally when Lindsay and Beth both came to help Heather, she asked Lindsay to get berries, and then she thought the berries wouldn't be enough food, so she asked Beth to go get crisps or chips, however you want to say it. I say crisps. But now that Lindsay like isn't here, the first thought in her mind would be to get berries, so she would tell Beth to go get berries instead of crisps. Yeah. Then a few seconds later, I do think that she would like tell Beth to get berries, but then like she was pretty quick to like want crisps then, so she would tell Beth to actually get her crisps too, because she wants both, you know. Okay. Now, here, I think that Lindsay basically just takes Cody's role, because originally, like, Cody was, like, comforting Beth, when Beth was, like, almost, like, rebelling against Heather. So now that Cody's gone, Lindsay would just take this role. Oh my god, Lindsay! There we go. Lindsay would just take this role, because, obviously Lindsay's already rebelled against Heather, and her life has gotten much better since then, and she's trying to convince Beth that she should flip on Heather, and it really does not take Beth long to agree, because obviously, like, she wants to flip on Heather, and she did originally. And all the, like, the still, like, breakout down thing would still happen, like, it's the exact same scene, only Lindsay's there instead of Cody, like, Beth stands up to Heather, and then Lindsay just runs off because she doesn't want to be involved in the drama. Cody originally took the crisps and then went off, and the bear mauled him, but I don't think Lindsay would take them next. She wouldn't want to I guess ruin her diet or something, I don't know. Okay. Also now the bear still finds the crisps, but no one's gonna be around now. Because the crisps are just where the other place was, and no one's there anymore. If you get what I mean. And then Lindsay's ran off, and then Lashawna's gonna come over, find Beth and Heather, and they're all gonna get into a paintball fight. Like they did originally, because they're gonna splatter paint everywhere. And because all of them are covered in paint now, this gives the Bass the win once again. And now without Cody getting mauled by a bear and getting voted out because he couldn't continue anymore and he was too weak, Heather's clearly the target here. Because she has no Cody plot armor anymore to save her, so she gets voted out. Okay. This episode, both teams originally had to assign a new head chef to help them cook. Jeff was originally assigned for the Bass, and that would still remain the same. And now that Heather's gone and isn't here to just call head chef and forcefully take it, I think that the Gophers assign it to Lashawna because she's just kind of a natural leader. Also, Bridget is the team leader on the Bass, but I think that she'd want a break from all the drama because it's just been pretty stressful and stuff, so Jeff still takes over. And then Lashawna takes over as team leader, or head chef for the Gophers, and I do think that she kind of finds it as team leader, because now, with Heather gone, no one's bossing them around, and people like Beth, Lindsay, and Owen kind of are all followers, so she thinks that being a team leader would be good to help her team get in order, I guess. And then Trent and Gwen just don't really care about being a team leader. Bridget and DJ are still gonna work together on the Bass's first dish, and then I guess for the second dish it's gonna be I guess Katie, Eva, and Tyler. I know not putting Katie and Katie and Sadie together is weird, but I do think that it is nice to get them to work with different people other than each other. Plus they rode with each other back in this episode, so I'm allowed to put them with other people, okay? And then Duncan's still gonna work on the last dish, and then he's gonna work with Sadie, which is a very interesting pair. Okay. I'm just gonna talk about the Bass for now. I'll talk about the Gophers later. Okay. Well, so while working on their dish, Katie offers to make a girls' alliance with Eva, because the girls 1, 2, 3, 4, and then guys 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and these guys, they do kind of get along, but people like Tyler and Duncan don't really get along too well, so they probably wouldn't vote together. So if they made a girls' alliance and all voted together, then they'd probably have majority. And Eva does find Katie really annoying. But trying to be more social, I guess, and trying to be a little bit nicer, because that's what DJ's trying to teach her how to do, and not break out on everyone all the time. She reluctantly agrees, because she does think that it is a good way to stay in the game, and obviously she's close with Duncan and DJ, but she doesn't really mind getting rid of Tyler or Jeff. And Katie is kind of scared, but because Eva is shown to be really terrifying, terrified Katie. And Katie gets pretty shocked because Eva is just pretty normal and stuff, and she doesn't break out on her or anything like that. She just kind of agrees, chill So when it comes time for Sadie and Duncan to do their dish, Sadie doesn't know Duncan too well, but she does try to get in good with him, because She just wants to get in good with everyone to try and not get voted out. So she starts like trying to make some friendly conversation, and she brings up Katie, and how like she doesn't know like what she would do without Katie, because obviously like, they're inseparable and stuff, and like she doesn't know what she would do without Katie. Like, if Katie like got eliminated, she would go crazy and stuff. Duncan tells Sadie that he doesn't have many friends, and that juvie isn't really a place for making friends. Sadie tells him that he's not in juvie, and making friends can be amazing, and it could really help him in this game. Duncan is pretty shocked with how like her words were pretty like smart and inspiring and stuff, and it brings a smile to his face as they like keep working on their dish and stuff. Sadie then tells him that she'd actually love if they could be friends, and at first it kind of just sounds like she's just trying to make an alliance with him, but then after a few seconds he realizes that she's being pretty genuine, and since he doesn't have too many friends, he agrees, but he still isn't like really sure of who Sadie is, and his first impressions were pretty bad, because Katie's just kind of shown to be like a crazy, popular boy, crazy person, I guess. And then Sadie tells Duncan that he does actually have quite a lot of friends here, because like he's friends with Jeff and DJ, cause they're like guys and stuff, and like they basically have a built-in guys alliance. And I said earlier that Tyler and Duncan don't get along too well, but they do I feel like they get along all right. So Tyler is also a close friend of his. He was in an alliance with Eva like all the way back in episode 3. He's friendly with Bridget, and now if he becomes friends with Sadie, he can also get Katie, because Katie and Sadie are like a package deal. Duncan feels happy knowing that he actually is, that like listening to Sadie, he realizes that he is actually friends with this whole team, and he thanks Sadie for making him realize that he does actually have friends, and that having friends is actually good and not lame like he thought. He looks into Sadie's eyes as like they both smile and like keep working on the food, and he feels a little bit of a spark. Bridget and DJ are still gonna be working on their like spaghetti or whatever, and then Jeff and like DJ's still gonna play wingman for Jeff and like try and get him to be good with Bridget, but then it ends horribly because Jeff brings up his friend's hot mom, and yeah. Okay, and yeah, basically everything stays the same. Well, no, not the same, but like I don't know why I said that. I've explained all of Bass's thing, so now I'll talk about the Gophers. Lashawna just is gonna like let everyone pick who they work with, unlike Heather, because she doesn't really mind. So Gwen and Trent are obviously going to work together, because they're a couple. And even though their relationship is kind of rocky right now, I think that they still do work together because they like being in each other's presence, because obviously like back here, yeah, and also where was it? Oh, there. Yeah, those 2 episodes where Gwen's diary got read and her crush on him got revealed, and then here where he left her buried alive on the beach. I didn't mention that, but it still happened. So the relationship is kind of rocky, but now without Heather on their team, everything is kind of like cooled down and they're all like friendly, so yeah. And then that means Owen, Lindsay, and Beth are all going to work together, and obviously now this team doesn't have 3 dishes, but I guess this team of 3 all work together to make 2 dishes, because there's more of them. I don't know. I don't really know, but it's fine. Beth and Lindsay are like obviously like both friends now that they both rebelled against Heather and like she was defeated and stuff. And then Owen's just a genuinely nice guy and they both get along with him. So that's like a pretty alright team, like they all get along. Like everyone on this team now gets along because Heather was removed. And then Owen is still gonna hit Trent with the oranges. And yeah, I don't know if like Trent would still be conscious in time to do the the flambe. But even then, I think that I don't think it would turn out well because Gwen wasn't shown to really know how to light a flambe originally. And originally the flambe almost killed Chris, so that would still happen. And then Owen still gets left in charge of the food because for some reason Lashawna decided to leave him in charge. I don't know. And he eats all the ribs, so the gopher's meal is just a disaster. So they lose miserably. And the vote on the gophers is clearly Owen for eating all of the ribs. And now, without Heather to point out Beth's tiki doll statue, Owen just gets booted because it's not revealed. Okay, at the start of this episode, Beth starts feeling down about her team's 2-streak losing score, I guess. So she decides that she's going to carry her lucky idol on her that she got from Boney Island back in this episode with her all day. Nothing much really happens now after the challenge, or before the challenge, sorry. So I guess we'll just jump into it, I guess. I don't know. DJ and Duncan's still going to compete for this side, and then DJ's just going to give his bunny to Jeff, and then he's later going to get eaten by a lot of animals and stuff. And then Gwen originally competed for the Gophers, and that would still happen, and now she competes with Beth, because she gets along with both of them, and then, I don't know, I just picked Beth instead of Lindsay. Beth then tells Gwen, Gwen and DJ are still gonna be, like, doing the climbing, and Beth and Duncan are gonna be, like, supporting them with the rope. And Beth just kind of gets a weird, like, vision in her mind, I guess, that like, the right side is the lucky side, so she tells Gwen to climb on the right side of the climbing wall. It doesn't really make sense to Gwen, and it's kind of weird that she would say that, and, like, she's saying, like, she has a good feeling about it, and Gwen just thinks that she's kind of weird and crazy, but she just decides to do it anyway. And then, she moves her hand to try and, like, climb closer to the right side, and as soon as she does that, a landmine explodes on her, and she falls all the way down to the ground. DJ then sees this, and since he was a pretty bad climber originally, like, he loses his balance, and I just don't think either of them get the point. And then obviously, like, Gwen is pretty mad at Beth because, like, she told her to climb on the right side, and then as soon as she tried doing that, she just fell down. But, you know, it's fine. Gwen isn't, like, one to get too mad, especially this late into the season. Like, she was maybe back all the way at the start, but not anymore. Gwen's, like, developed and, like, became nicer. Jeff and Bridget are gonna compete on this side for the bass, and then Trent and Lindsay are still gonna compete. Or, actually, for the Gophers, Trent and Beth compete. Beth is a little bit confused why she's going twice in a row, but she doesn't really question it. She just thinks that maybe it's a random wheel that's choosing, I don't know. Beth tells Trent that this is the challenge for her because she was top in her class in biology, so she's got this. And then Bridget originally made the food right for Jeff, so that still happens. And then Beth, like Lindsay, accidentally poisons Trent, and then Beth is really confused on how she failed because she's super good in biology, and, like, that's, like, her top subject. And then that gets Trent sent to the infirmary. So the same thing happens with, like, Jeff getting DJ's bunny eaten by a snake that gets eaten by an eagle that lands on a dock that a shark eats. So that all still happens. The next challenge, it's going to be Sadie, because she originally competed, and Duncan competing. And then for the Gophers, it's going to be Lindsay and Beth once again. Lashawna points out that Beth has competed in every challenge so far. So Lashawna asks Chris why Beth is competing again. Chris just tells her that it's his game and he makes the rules. And then Lashawna just kind of rolls her eyes and thinks that Beth's probably going to fail again because she failed miserably twice. Sadie still badly pelts Duncan in apples, meaning they just don't get a point. But Beth is also terrible at shooting the apples, and she pelts Lindsay in apples exactly like how Sadie did to Duncan. So there would just be no points. So this sends both Lindsay and Duncan to the infirmary. And after a while, Duncan just gets off the infirmary chair and looks around and then walks off for a second. And Lindsay's pretty confused by this, but doesn't really question it. This next challenge, Tyler and Bridget compete for the bass. And then Lashawna and, would you guess it, Beth compete for the bass, or Gophers, sorry. The same thing happens with Harold and Bridget, where Bridget's nervous about jumping and then Tyler comforts her and she jumps off and she does it correctly. So they get the point. And then Lashawna's trying to jump into Beth's arms and she's swinging on the trapeze. And then right as she tells Lashawna to jump off the trapeze thing, a jellyfish jumps on Beth's face, causing her to move her arms around because obviously she's trying to get the jellyfish off her face. So Lashawna isn't able to grab onto her arms, and this once again sends her to the infirmary. Sadie decides to go to the infirmary to check on Duncan to see how he's doing, because it was kind of her fault that he got sent there, so she feels bad. But when he's not there, she starts to get worried and asks Lindsay, because Lindsay's also there, where Duncan went. And Lindsay tells Sadie that a while ago he just kind of got off the infirmary chair and just walked off. And then Lindsay lies back down because obviously she's in pain for pelting and stuff. And then Sadie sees Duncan leading a bunny back to camp and is confused. So even though the Gophers literally can't win because it's 0-2, the Gophers won 2 rounds and it was no points for 2 other rounds. I'm still gonna do the final challenge for fun. Eva and Katie compete in the last challenge. We're gonna say that actually Chris makes it fun and interesting, and since the Gophers are miserably losing all these challenges, he says that the last round is worth 3 points. So the Gophers actually can win. And the Bass are pretty mad by this, because obviously then the last few rounds literally have counted for nothing, because this round is just a winner takes all. But they don't, they can't do anything. So Katie and Eva compete for the Bass. And then Beth is the only Gopher left, because all these guys got sent to the infirmary. Lashawna, because she got hit by she got thrown into the jellyfish water. Lindsay got pelted by apples. Gwen got thrown off the climbing wall, and then Trent got poisoned. So Beth just has to compete by herself, and she obviously loses, meaning the Bass have won the challenge. Beth joins her team in the infirmary and tells them that she can't believe that they lost again, because she had her lucky statue on her all day. Everyone is confused why the statue is lucky, and then Beth tells them that it's lucky because she got them from the other island. She got it from the other island, and then everyone realizes that Beth has cursed her team, and yeah, everyone votes her out. Lindsay probably votes with Beth, but I think that these three are definitely going to vote for Beth. Okay. So, to go for guys, let me just get them all here. They all kind of have a meeting in, like, the cafeteria, and they were talking about how Sadie, like, basically buried Duncan in apples in the last challenge, and that the next chance they get, they should vote her out. Duncan defends Sadie, saying that she didn't mean to hurt him, and he's okay now anyway, because that was, like, a while ago anyway. And Tyler also defends Sadie because they're in an alliance, just saying that, like, Sadie is a pretty smart person. She just got a little bit confused, and that at all times everyone gets confused. And DJ and Jeff are just nice people, so they wouldn't really be pushing too hard. So they're okay with keeping Sadie in. But they are a little bit suspicious on why Duncan was defending her so much, because he doesn't really have too, like, he's not really close with anyone too much. Obviously, like, he's friends with everyone on this team, but, like, he isn't, like, super close with them. Eva walks up to Katie, and tells her, let me just bring these guys over here. Eva walks up to Katie and tells her that she would, like to make, a girls' alliance, because obviously, like, it's clear now because of the guys' alliance meeting that, the guys have an alliance, so Eva tells Katie that she'd like to make a girls' alliance as soon as possible. And Katie agrees that they should make it soon, because obviously, like, if they don't make it, and, like, there are inconveniences and stuff like that, and fights, the guys will obviously take the majority. I explained that horribly, but hopefully you get what I mean. So then Katie excitedly agrees that they should make an alliance quickly, and is excited to have a new ally, because they also still have Tyler, and she obviously knows that Duncan and Sadie have been getting along really well, so that should mean that her and Sadie are pretty good for a while at least. So originally, like, the first person to take their hands, like, off the boat, like, they had to all, like, lift a boat, and, like, the first person to take their hands off the boat would get eliminated. And it was originally Lindsay, but now I think that it would be Sadie, because Sadie and Katie just haven't really been shown, yes, to, like, do too well in challenges, especially physical ones. So, and Sadie is quite a short person, so Sadie takes her hands off the boat first and is the first one eliminated. And then in the original writing challenge, DJ and Trent were eliminated, but now I'm going to add Katie, Tyler, and Lindsay to that list, because they're all kind of ditzy and a little bit dumb. I don't think they'd be able to do it in time. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So after they, all three of them get eliminated, Tyler offers to take Lindsay on a little walk to try and, like, cool down their brains, because obviously they're not used to that much work. And she agrees. Okay. So now, like, obviously in the original, Duncan was pushing Chef over the edge and, like, trying to get him as mad as possible. He still does that, and then he gets sent to the boathouse. Yeah, that still happens. And then Sadie goes to, like, talk to him in the boathouse, and tells him that she knows that he has a soft side, because, the other challenge, she's seen him, like, leading back Bunny and, like, giving him to DJ, because I forgot to mention about that, he did give him to DJ. And Duncan is a little bit upset by this, but, Sadie comforts him, saying that she's not going to tell anyone about, like, the bunny. And Sadie then asks him why he always finds it so fun to be rude all the time, and then Duncan replies by asking her why she always is so kind. Sadie responds by saying that there's no reason to be rude to anyone all the time. And Duncan, oh, there's me. Hi. That was so awkward. I just like popped my head up. Hi. Okay. I just broke storyline right there. Sorry about that. Okay. Duncan asks Sadie if Chris and Chef are a reason to be rude to people, and she admits that they do really annoy her at times, and she wishes she could be more tough like him. Duncan then invites her to help him steal all the food and like raid the kitchen, basically, from Chris and Chef, and she agrees, wanting to be a little bit more of a daredevil, because obviously being nice is good, but obviously the Chris and Chef are always rude to them, so she thinks that being rude back could be fun. And it's not like being rude, you know, like being rude is bad, but like stealing from them could be fun and stuff. The two then hear like some weird monster coming from one of the barrels, because obviously they're still in the boathouse. And then Sadie clings to Duncan as he slowly walks towards the barrel, and then as he opens it, he sees Tyler and Lindsay making out. Duncan and Sadie laugh and then go to steal Chef and Chris's food. The two then just invite everyone over, and they eat a lot of food and stuff. And then basically Sadie just takes Courtney's role here with like puking and then making out with Duncan, which is pretty disgusting. But you know, it's fine. Anyway, after the kiss, Sadie tells Duncan that she's had a really fun adventure with him today, and that she's realizing now that she really likes him. And then Duncan then pulls Sadie in for another kiss, and then after their kiss, they go back inside, and Katie and Sadie celebrate because Sadie just kissed a guy, and that's like pretty big for them and stuff, because they're both like pretty boy obsessed, so anything like that they both get excited over. Okay. Now back to the next morning in the actual challenge. In the obstacle course, it wasn't shown, but I guess Bridget and LaShawna were originally eliminated, because that's, like, they weren't in the final challenge, but they didn't get eliminated anywhere else. So I guess they got eliminated there, meaning our final people competing are Jeff, Eva, Duncan, and Gwen, I'm pretty sure. And even though this team has 3 and this team has 1, Gwen originally wins this challenge, so they win. The Gophers finally break their losing streak. Yay. Okay. So obviously, like, there are 2, like, alliances, like a girls' alliance and a guys' alliance. So they're immediately, like, split up. And then Sadie, Bridget, and actually basically everyone on this team defends Duncan. Bridget and Duncan have gotten along back, like, in Up the Creek and Phobia Factor. Sadie and Duncan just kissed, and then Katie defends Sadie, Katie defends Sadie, who's defending Duncan, so that's pretty much a defend for Duncan. And then Eva used to be in an alliance with Duncan and thinks that Duncan's pretty cool, so yeah. Bridget defends Jeff, and Eva defends DJ. Meaning that the only other person that the 4 could vote out is Tyler. And Sadie and Katie are supposed to be in an alliance with Tyler, but, seeing as, like, they do have a girls' alliance and, like, they're friends with Duncan, they realize that they kind of need to betray it soon anyway, and they both feel bad and, like, are really considering if they should betray it or not. And then Bridget has actually been, like, a good friend with Tyler, like, she's gotten close with him. So, yeah, like, that makes her not want to vote out Tyler, just like Katie and Sadie. But, Eva would, like, heavily be pushing for him, because, like, it's between Jeff and Tyler for her, and obviously Jeff and Bridget are, like, kind of sort of dating a little bit. So, obviously, that's a no. So, then, like, Sadie is, like, really, like, sad because she doesn't know who to target, so she talks to Duncan, And she tells him that she knows that the guys are probably going to be targeting Katie because out of the people, it just kind of makes sense because, you know, DJ is protecting Eva because Eva's protecting DJ, Jeff's protecting Bridget because Bridget's protecting Jeff, and then Sadie's protecting Duncan, so Duncan's protecting Sadie. So that only leaves Sadie and Tyler, so those are obviously going to be the votes. And then Duncan, like, tries to comfort her, but realizing that, like, she is sad, he tells her the truth that they are going to target Katie. And Sadie begs him to flip because obviously she really does not want Katie to go because they're BFFFLs. So like the vote out is really like weird because obviously like Duncan's okay with voting out Tyler, but Sadie and Katie don't want to vote out Tyler. So they're all kind of stressing, and then Bridget talks to them, all three of them, because she's close to them all, and tells them that obviously like there's like some big confusions with the vote because most people on this team are actually friends, and like no matter what, no matter who gets voted out, an alliance is going to break because there's like so many different alliances with this team. But she tells them her plan to vote out Eva because Eva's kind of been the one who's like trying to like push for everyone to like do these like certain moves, like pushing for everyone to vote for Tyler. Like she's kind of been trying to peer pressure everyone into voting for Tyler. And then Bridget like tells everyone about her plan to vote out Eva, and then DJ is obviously against it because Eva and DJ are really very close. But it doesn't really matter because this is 6, this is 2. I do think that everyone would agree because no one here is really close with Eva. I guess Duncan, but like Duncan and Eva kind of like broke their alliance as they both made more friends as it went on. So Eva's eliminated here. And then DJ goes to say goodbye to Eva on the dock of shame, as he stumbles for his words and like tries to say goodbye to her. And then like he kind of stumbles for his words and like looks at her and just takes a breath and starts to tell her that he has a crush on her. Eva then cuts him off and pulls him in for a kiss. And then Eva wishes him the best of luck as she boards the boat of losers. Feeling kind of betrayed, but not wanting to take her anger out because of DJ, obviously, like, helping her out with her anger issues and stuff. Okay, this challenge. Trent and DJ are still going to compete in the skydiving challenge because they did originally, so there's no reason for that to change. And it just stays the exact same, with DJ accidentally pushing Trent off the plane, and then he doesn't land on the couch, but DJ does. And then in the moose riding, it's going to be Lashana and Jeff, like usual, because again, they're both still here. So that remains the same. And then Jeff lands in the pile of socks, and Lashana doesn't. She's able to ride the moose. And then the, like, thing, the water skiing thing, I just want to call it, I guess, that's going to be different, because Heather and Harold originally competed in that challenge, but now neither of them are here. So it's going to be different. And then Lindsay obviously was like skiing for her team, and now no one else can compete, so Gwen has to. So she's driving. And then on the bass, between these people, like Duncan originally competed, so I think that he would still compete, like he'd be driving. And I think Bridget volunteers to like ski because she's a surfer, so she has to have like some balance, and like I feel like that's pretty similar. So she decides to ski. And I do think that both Lindsay and Bridget would be able to collect all the flags. But since in the original Duncan crashed, that would give the Gophers the win because Duncan like crashed and Gwen didn't. So Duncan gives his team -points, meaning this team go to the merge. Okay. There we go. Okay. So there has to be a vote out here. So out of these people, Duncan is probably the least close with Tyler. So he'd talk to DJ and Jeff, and even though DJ is pretty upset with the guys for voting out Eva, he understands that she was kind of a little bit bossy and like, yeah. So he's kind of trying to forget them. So Duncan talks to DJ and Jeff about voting out Tyler, and they are kind of hesitant because they're supposed to have a guys alliance with him, but they do eventually agree because they do like Katie, Sadie, and Bridget. So then Duncan talks to Katie and Sadie about voting out Tyler, and even though Katie and Sadie are hesitant because they're supposed to have an alliance with Tyler, they are like pretty hesitant, as I just said, and they tell Duncan that they just can't really bring themselves to vote for Tyler because Tyler was like one of their first friends on the island, while everyone else kind of just thought they were weirdos. So they just can't bring themselves to vote for him. Duncan understands. So that puts Bridget kind of in the swing vote position because it's gonna be those three voting for Jeff and those three voting for Tyler. And between Jeff and Tyler, I don't think that Bridget votes for any of either of them. I think that maybe she just throws her vote on like Katie or something, because even though she is supposed to have a girls alliance with them, she like isn't. She's really close with all these guys. But that obviously does mean that there is a tiebreaker between Jeff and Tyler, and Tyler is kind of clumsy, and so is Jeff. They're both pretty clumsy, but I think that Tyler is just kind of made to be like comical relief. So I think he loses that challenge because he's just shown to be pretty clumsy. Yeah. So Tyler is eliminated. So Katie, Sadie, and Bridget all go to see him off at the dock of shame and say goodbye to him, and they all like hug it out and stuff because they were all friends and stuff. Okay, and then with that we have our teams split into girls and guys, and as you can see here, there is an uneven number of girls to guys, and I don't see Chris putting any of these girls on to the guys team. Maybe Gwen, because she's more like tomboyish, I guess, like she's not like girly girl, frou-frou and stuff. But I don't think he does. I think that it is just a 6-4. The guys do think that it is unfair, but no one really says anything because, well, they do, but like nothing happens, obviously. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, Chris then announces that the challenge is going to be a girls versus boys thing. And then, yeah. And then since, like, obviously there are, as I just said, there's 6 girls and 4 boys, the boys do kind of have an advantage because they have to eat less. So I guess to make it more fair, the boys would just have to eat double the food. I don't know. It's hard to say, but whatever. Now, like, originally the girls' cabin was, like, a lot of hate because Heather was there, but now it would be a lot friendlier without Heather. Lashawna, Gwen, and Lindsay gave a warm welcome to Katie, Bridget, and Sadie. Lindsay is extremely happy that, like, these 3 are here. Let me just move Gwen. Because she doesn't really, like, she's not really too similar to Gwen or Lashawna, and she's happy to have people that she is more similar to because she's, like, really similar to Katie and Sadie, and then Bridget, like, they're both really nice. Like, they have similar style, I guess. I don't know. They're both blonde, so yeah. The guys' side of the cabin would stay pretty much the same. All the guys like partying and having fun because all these guys were there originally, so now it would just stay the same. It was just Owen was there originally, but now he's not here, so literally nothing changes. So when it comes time to actually do the Brunt or Disgustingness, the girls take the meat round because they did originally, and like Lindsay, Gwen, Bridget, and Lashawna all ate the meat. And obviously Katie and Sadie weren't here originally, but since like the way Lindsay ate the meat was because she was thinking about the spa resort, I think Sadie and Katie would do that too, and they'd all be able to eat the meat, and there's just no way that the guys would be able to eat the meat because they wouldn't want to do that to the bull. Okay, the second round was it was like the live grasshopper pizza with jellyfish sauce and anchovies. Now, originally Bridget was able to help Lindsay eat the food, and I do think that she'd actually do the same with Sadie and Katie. It doesn't really matter though because like Lashawna didn't eat the food in the original, so she just wouldn't do that now, meaning the guys are going to get the point. Now the next round, DJ was able to help the guys eat like the worm spaghetti, like by blindfolding them and plugging their noses so that they couldn't like see or smell it. So the guys get the point. And then like DJ, Bridget was actually able to come up with an idea to help the girls win by funneling the next dish, which was like the hangnail soup and stuff. So she was able to funnel it into Lindsay's mouth, and then the girls got the point, even though it was just Lindsay who ate it, but that's fine, I guess. And then the next few rounds were just a montage. So we don't know who actually wins those points, and they don't even count for points anymore. So, I guess we'll just skip those. Final round was dolphin hot dogs, and DJ and Bridget weren't able to eat them originally, so that would just stay the same now, because they didn't eat them originally, so they wouldn't be able to eat them now. So they'd then be forced to do the tiebreaker. And I think that the girls obviously send in Lashana because they did originally, and then I guess the guys send in Jeff. I don't know, I'll put them over here, it's easier. It doesn't really matter though, because I don't think any of these guys would be able to beat Lashana. The person who beat Lashana originally was Owen, and that's Owen, like food lover and stuff. So Lashana, I think, wins this, meaning the girls win the tiebreaker and get to spend the weekend on the spa resort cruise ship thing. And then with that, we are officially at the merge. And also, it's time for this video to end. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this just being a one-parter video, but it's already been an hour and a half, and, oh, there's me again. It's already been an hour and a half, and I think that that is perfect for one video. So I will upload part 2, hopefully in just like around a week. Not promising anything though, because it took forever for this video to come out. So peeps, I hope you like this video. That's my old outro. Oops, whatever. I hope you like this video. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I hope you like this video. Like, subscribe, do that and stuff. Yeah. But I'm terrible at outros and intros, help.